Let's start with Shauna coming off that game. Like, what's been important for you guys? Got kind of quick, rapid succession here for games. What's been important for preparing for this stretch here?
I think we just kind of after Northwestern kind of reevaluated some stuff of just, things we did well and then some things we had to tighten up. So, the last 2 days have been really good days of practice and I feel like we're in a really good place. So I thought that Northwestern game was good for us in a lot of different ways because I don't think we necessarily played our best, but we found a way and we found a way to win. I thought it was good to learn from, and I feel like we're in a much better place as a team and going into tomorrow night. So it was a lot of good takeaways from Sunday.
Is there anything specifically you feel like you're in a better place with out of that game?
I just think that we're continuing to learn as a team about how to win consistently, right? Like again, this is kind of new for the first time through with this team, and now we have a target a little bit more so on our back than when we started. So I think just kind of learning how to deal with that and I don't want to say pressure, but just continuing to learn how to play through some of those moments and getting everyone's best shot, is different than when we started this season. So, but I'm proud of our team and the leadership we've showed after the game and in the last couple of days. Again, we've learned just a lot of different things about us, not necessarily all basketball, just about how we got to continue to attack this season and go, take it one day at a time.
Just curious about, you talked about KB just, wanting her to be more aggressive. What does that kind of look like for her? And what do you kind of see at the end of that Indiana game and the Northwestern game that you really liked from her the past two games?
No, I love that aggressiveness. And after the Indiana game, that was at the very end, she got that ball and she was looking to score it every single time. And I said, that's that version of yourself that we need and that I love to see. So, and then I thought she carried that over into Northwestern and was super aggressive, offensively. And that adds so much to our team when she's being aggressive offensively. Cause now, okay, are they going to double? How are they going to guard her? Now and she's such an elite passer out of the post. So, but sometimes I think she passes too much right away. She's standing right by me, so that's why I'm smiling at her. But I thought she did a really good job. Like, I believe every time she touches the ball down low, she can score it. So now getting her to have that mindset, plus being able to pass out and get other people's shots, we're a much better offensive team when she's in that aggressive mindset.
Indiana Northwestern, the second time you kind of played them, what have you kind of seen with teams, the way they approach you? And is that sort of something maybe you have to adjust on based on what you've kind of seen from them, whether it be offensively or defensively?
Yeah, it's anything, right? Like, especially when we play these teams twice, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna play us differently. They're gonna make adjustments, just like we've made adjustments on teams. I think that our guards and their ability to create and get downhill, I think, has caused some concerns for other teams. So now they're really gapping us hard, really trying to close. They're switching a lot of those, trying to close off those driving lanes for them, which we still need to continue to attack. But then we have to be able to hit those inside out passes. You saw at Northwestern, I mean, they collapsed almost 4 or 5 people down onto our guards to not let them get to the rim. Indiana did some things like that since, our guards, especially Makaira, that first game really, got downhill against them. So they're trying to take that away, but you can't take everything away. So we need to be able to recognize that, still attack, still get paint touches, go inside out. And then that's where also our post play is so important, because the more they score, the harder it's going to be to try to clog it up and shut down those driving lanes of our perimeter players.
Shauna, as you get into the grind of this over the next 2 months, are you having conversations with your staff about how long do we go today, trying to just make sure everybody is as healthy and as fresh as they can be once you hit the postseason?
Yeah, no, I'm constantly checking, with Kylie, our strength coach. We're going an hour and 30, today we're at an hour 30. And then we walk through a couple things with free throw box out to review. So we probably went like 135, tops 140. We have to stay at that. So I'm being super conscious of that. Even, yesterday, we were at 130. Again, we went longer in film, which is not a physical strain. It's more mental, but no doubt about it that I am completely, we need our legs. We need our legs, and we're going to do everything we can in order to make sure that happens.
Shauna, I don't know, you might tell me this is too early to ask you this, but as you get closer to February, I mean, you've been in this position where the postseason has been on the horizon for you. Like, how do you handle, I know you talked about being open in conversations with your team, like how and when do you maybe start to put that out there? Because obviously you're on seed lines and all those things are starting to come out at this point.
I think it's a good question, right? And it's a little bit different probably this year as opposed to my past 6 years when, we were pretty much always at the top of the conference, and it mattered so much about our non-conference play, whether we were going to get into the tournament. It really, in that level, came down to the A10 tournament. So this is a little bit different. But right now, I always believe that it's literally, you have to take one day at a time, and you really have to take one game at a time, because this league's a lot different. Every single night, anyone can beat anyone. So the postseason, the postseason is postseason, but you got to continue to have a 1-0 mindset, or you're not going to get to the postseason. So I think these guys understand that. We've talked enough, so I don't want it to be, I don't want to put added pressure, but they're smart enough to understand. And I think that I've laid it out there that, losing to Indiana or losing to Ohio State, that doesn't hurt you. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to beat them, and it helps us because we beat Iowa. Now Iowa beat Ohio State, and Iowa's, a top 10 team, like all that, but it's not a bad loss if you lose to a top 5 team in the country. But there's, the bottom half of the league. Like if you want to be an NCAA caliber team, you got to take care of business with those guys. And that's where I was, that Northwestern game, that's a hard game. It's on the road. It's against a rivalry. We didn't particularly shoot it well, right? We didn't shoot our free throws like we normally do. And we found a way to win. I told these guys, and they weren't even that happy that they won. I'm like, you guys got to be happy you won that game, because that's the type of game that can keep you out of an NCAA tournament, if you put some of those together. So, they're smart enough. We're not going to sit there and I'm not going to talk about it every single day, but there'll be times where I have to pick and choose when we can talk about that. But if you go and handle your business day to day, and if you handle every game with the mindset to treat them like they're Ohio State and to go in, and that they're a top 5 team and we got to go 1-0, then the outcomes take care of themselves.
I think that's an interesting point you made about like winning the A10. Like for you, that's just kind of been as a head coach, what you've known, like to get through have you had to adjust anything differently, understanding there are maybe more at-large bids available for you in the Big Ten?
Yeah, that was another major reason why, that I wanted to be in the Big Ten. I mean, literally our season, we were 22-5 going into the selection Monday, or 22-4, whatever it was. And we were the last team in because we lost in the championship game. In the last 2 years, we went 15-1 in conference. Like, so everything came down to 3 days with everyone wanting to kick our, whats. So, because we had the target on our back forever. So yeah, in this league, it has. So I understand we got to just continue again to keep the main thing, one day at a time, but there's multiple bids in this league. So we just got to be in that top, get a double bye, a bye in the Big Ten tournament and stay in that top, 7-6 in the league and hopefully and do your job and win the games you're supposed to win. And then hopefully you're going to have an opportunity to get in the NCAA tournament. But even in the conference, it's been an adjustment. Like if we lost a game in the A10, like, I was about ready to, pull my hair out. But here it's like, you have to understand, like, you're going to lose some games. I don't ever want to lose, but no one's going undefeated in this league. So it's been an adjustment with that as well.
Thanks, Shauna.
Shauna, I feel like I ask you about your bench all the time, but I thought Sunday you got really good contributions out of Jada and Jalen, and even like the 2 or 3 minutes you got out of Gio.
Yes.
Is it something when you play a 9-person rotation like Purdue has that you feel like can continue to get better as we go along here?
I really do. And they know how important, they are to us. I was really proud of them. I thought our bigs, Gio and Aisha both gave KB, spotted her just really solid minutes. And that's all we need. They defended and they rebounded and they followed scouting report. And that was enough to give KB a minute or two break. And if I can get her a minute here, a minute there, then that's going to help her be, her best self when we need her as well. So I was proud of them. And then I thought, Jada did a really good job. She was back to, herself, and she's looked really good in practice. So we got to have that. So now I can spot, Makaira, Jen, give them a minute here or there, because, they're playing, those three are playing a lot of minutes, and even a minute before a media, or a minute, going in at the end of a quarter, those things, I'm trying to get them any small break that we can. So I think our bench, they understand the importance. They understand it. They've been getting better. And I was happy with them on Sunday. I think you were right. They were definitely a lot better.
Shauna, you've said it, and I've heard many coaches say the adage, when the ball's not going in, keep shooting. Shooters got to shoot and just keep shooting. That said, when you see it early in a game not going in, what do you have to think about as a coach? Is it adjustments? Is it trying to run different actions, get different looks, or even mechanical tweaks for players?
Yeah, I mean, those are things that we're constantly if it's a mechanical thing, they need to hold their follow through more, they need to get their feet, then we'll be talking about that, during a timeout on the bench. It's also, I want them to continue to shoot, but I think it's also as a player, you got to understand, okay, I'm not hitting threes right now. I know as a player, I was always like that. Like, how can I get myself going? Well, I'm going to attack more. I'm going to try to get to the free throw line. I'm going to try to manufacture some points early. So now you have more confidence in your three. So that's just, we're always calling sets in order. Most of them are all to get downhill, and then our threes come out of that. So I think it's a combination of everything, what we're calling, and then players just understanding, okay, let me get myself some confidence and get in rhythm. Let me be aggressive and let the game kind of work itself out.
And then I apologize if it's a retread here. Purdue, what stands out to you about them on film as you see them for the first time?
Purdue, they have a lot of guards that can shoot the ball. They shoot the three at a high level. And that's the thing. We have to be able to guard a lot of different action. And we got to guard the 3-point line. And then they have a really big point guard, and obviously a kid that's played here, Janae Terry, who kind of is the engine that makes them go. And she, we gotta neutralize her and kind of affect her vision, so she's not able to, to get them into their rhythm offensively. But we got to really be locked in, like every game, defensively, and rebounding is going to be big against this team, because I think if we can rebound at a high level, then transition matters, and our Phoenix fast break matters against a team like this. And we got to get some baskets in transition. So our normal stuff, but it's concerning when they have multiple players that can all shoot the three at a high level.
Generally speaking, though, have you been pleased with your 3-point defense?
Yeah, I have. I mean, we're up there in the league. I forget what it was last week when I looked, but we're in the top few in the 3 or so in the league in 3-point field goal percentage. So we got to continue to be better. Like this game, like it's a big every game's a big know your personnel game, but this is a big like KYP game, and you gotta know where those shooters are. We got to have good awareness, and then we have to have urgency getting out on them, which a couple times in Northwestern, they weren't so-called shooters, but everyone at this level can make an open three, and we were a little bit late getting out, and then they made us pay. So this is a game where if you're late getting out to one of their shooters, it's like a layup for them. So we got to be urgent, and we got to be aware.
Everybody good?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Kendall, you've had a lot of usage, a lot of minutes. How's the body feel? How's the conditioning?
It feels pretty good. Basketball is a game of, like, once you play it more, that's really the only way you can get in shape. So I think, Kylie did a great job of getting us kind of all in shape during the preseason, and it's really helped carry over. But I would say I'm definitely in good shape. But the body feels good. I'm with our, athletic trainer every day before practice, like working on stuff, ice baths. So just trying to make sure my body is up to the best of its ability for every game.
How are you guys looking at a few games here at home? You're not on the road until next weekend. So you guys talk about, okay, these are important because it's set up for us, being at home.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's definitely a big emphasis. Like we want to win like all these home games, the home court advantage. So we kind of really are bought in this week to like getting these 2 games. And then obviously winning on the road in the Big Ten is hard. Winning in the Big Ten is hard, but especially on the road. So we want to really take advantage of the home games that we have now to kind of get a couple wins before we head out.
Kendall, just being an Indiana native, I mean, how important are these games for you playing Purdue? I know there's a player from Kokomo, Indiana that's on the team for Purdue. What's these matchups like for you?
They're fun, I mean, obviously I have a lot of family and stuff like that will come to these games just because, in-state, but it's exciting, just playing any team, but especially the teams from Indiana. I find it fun.
Coach kind of talked about just wanting you to be more aggressive in that Indiana game and then in Northwestern. What does that kind of look like for you, and how have you kind of fit yourself into that role of what she's looking for you to do offensively?
Just kind of taking it upon myself to kind of get myself in that mindset. I mean, obviously, like sometimes I feel like I do overpass it, but just kind of being confident in my ability, like all the work I've put in, like with Coach Ryan, before practice, after practice, during the off season, kind of seeing that like pay off in practice, and then just having the confidence to do it in a game, and knowing like my teammates and my coaches like trust me to, score the ball during this possession, or like the shot clock's low, we're gonna go into me, like just kind of knowing they have that faith and confidence in me is huge, because last year I didn't really feel like I had like that confidence. So just kind of seeing that build off is really cool.
Kendall, it's probably a little early, but I asked Coach Green the same. Like, you were on a tournament team at Michigan State your freshman year. Like, how do you guys as players, like, obviously I'm sure you see like the projections or seeds, or like, how do you handle that conversation as this thing gets closer to February?
I think obviously we look at it more as it does get close to February, but I mean, it's not really something that we focus on necessarily. Like we're kind of more focused on going like 1-0. I know Coach Green has said that, like just kind of going 1-0 every day, 1-0 each game. But I mean, I definitely think as February hits and we kind of get towards those last 3 games, I definitely think that'll be kind of like something that does matter a little bit more. Obviously it matters now, but I think, we're all aware of it. We're all, excited, especially the ones that were here last year. Like, the fact that we literally went from no postseason to a possible NCAA tournament in like 1 season is crazy. So just kind of having that as fuel for excitement and having that as fuel for wanting to go out and win these games.
I hate to always go back to a year ago, but you do have that vantage point. Like, what was it like January 25th a year ago versus now, understanding kind of where you are with everything?
It was different last year for sure. I mean, I feel like we kind of knew like when our season was going to be over. So I feel like it was just kind of like harder to want to win games because we knew it wouldn't matter. I mean, obviously like we all wanted to win, but it just kind of like motivating yourself in the game. Like if we get down 15, like that would turn into 30 by the 4th quarter, like just kind of having that, confidence and stability like within ourselves. This year is really good, but yeah, it was very different last year. I mean, we were kind of looking like, all right, we got 9 games left. Like that's it. Like we have nothing else after. So it's definitely a little different and we're pretty excited about it. You guys all good?